What you're about to see is one of the most groundbreaking moments in poker history.
Overwhelming chip lead to Xuan Liu, Randy, 35 million plus.
A tournament where over 90% of the field were elite male professionals, killers of the game, with millions in winnings and reputations built on crushing anyone who dared sit across from them. And yet, sitting at that table was Xuan Liu, a woman the poker world didn't expect to last long. But instead of being intimidated, she turned the tables and shocked the entire poker world, outplaying elite pros and dismantling one of the toughest fields the game has ever seen. So how did she manage to pull off the impossible? Let's find out. The tournament started with immediate fireworks. Xuan found herself in a massive pot against Daniel Dvoris, one of the most feared players in the game. Both players had strong hands, and the tension from the action was building. But sometimes, in poker, even monster hands can turn into nightmares.
Bigs.
Let's see 3 dealer. Jack 6-5 and, well, potential for Xuan to lose further chips here, Randy. Only 1 overcard to the 7s. Has that 7 of diamonds kind of interacting with the 5-6 of diamonds as well? We know Dvoris won't be going anywhere to a C-bet.
Yeah, she'll probably lose a little bit of chips here on the flop. Depending on turns and rivers, there could be a small value to be sought from Dvoris. But for now, it should be that small check call.
Reevaluate turn kind of situation, right?
Probably like, I'm going to guess the turn checks through almost always, unless Xuan improves to a set. Be very surprised if she was to bet again, even on like a deuce.
Does Daniel ever check raise this combo, by the way? Just out of curiosity. Just to get a little bit more clarity on where he's at in the hand?
I don't think you get a little bit of clarity, but when you get called, it's very murky, so you don't want that.
Oh, wow. My word.
Jesus. That's the card where you keep betting on the turn.
7 of spades on the turn, 1.27 out there. Daniel with the open ender, 23% equity. Xuan with the set.
He might even lead, actually. He's expecting a lot of turn check through on this card because this 7 improves the big blind's range. And he wants to, you know, charge the overcards. It's a board freezing card because straights get there that the big blind has more of. Therefore, like an overpair or a jack, they're less likely to raise you. So you can kind of set the price. Lots of good things from the lead.
So Dvoris kind of leveraging the fact that he can still have hands like 8-9, 8-4, and 4-3, you know, suited combos from the big, whereas Xuan just really can't have those hands.
Exactly, and he's got 2 pairs that Xuan wouldn't have. But, you know, Xuan's got one of the hands where she can seriously consider raising, of course, with the set of 7s. It's also very dicey because they're super deep. You would hate to somehow get all the chips in on the turn. Okay, we see black's being cut out, so that's a raise.
Hold on, Randy.
Well, you think she's just...
Hold on now, here it is. 1.2 by the looks of it, 1.3. So, near 4x raise from Xuan. I want to know, like, how does Dvoris proceed here?
There's a lot of things going on here, because he's thinking, well, the hand that for value that's most likely raising is like 8-9, right? Straight. But you got 2 8s in your hand. You block that. So what's the value? Is it like pocket jacks? Is it sets? Is this ever a pair trying to raise and just check back the river, like an overpair ace jack? You know? And if that's the case, then there is a consideration of, you know, making a playback if you think those hands will just raise fold. But we don't know. That's hard to say.
So you think he might try and get a hand like ace-jack to fold?
I don't know if he thinks those hands would raise. That's a question, you know, only he would know the answer to.
He's going to make the call. Sizable pot brewing here. This is the second hand. Second or third hand, sorry.
Oh my God, is that a serious river card? That turn and river is insane for these two hands.
From 23% equity on the turn to 100 on the river. We're going to have a new chip leader, as in Daniel Dvoris. The question is, can he extract more value here from Xuan on this river? 4-liner on board, flush gets there. Xuan's 7's reduced to a bluff catcher.
Kind of like a lead for Dvoris. It's never... I feel like he's never going to get Xuan to bluff at this board texture. Xuan's got a lot of check back. All the sets will check back with that river card. There's probably not that many diamonds from Xuan that's willing to raise the turn because they don't want to get blown off their equity, given how deep they are. Yeah, I love that he's leading. This makes a lot of sense. Try to get some crying calls out of your opponent.
Doesn't even go that big. Sub 1/3, targeting exactly this type of holding. The hands that Randy was alluding to. What a brutal development. Xuan here.
It's hard to full sets for this price in big pots, but I can't really think of a hand she beats as played.
Oh, that's a great laydown. That's a great laydown. Didn't even take too much time. No like emotional attachment to the hand. Just let it go. Always disappointing when you drop down from 4.6 to 2.8, but needs to just leave that hand in the past, stay locked in.
That's the difference between amateurs and champions. Knowing when to let go. Xuan's stack took a hit, dropping to 2.8 million, but she was still very much alive and was about to prove why she belonged at this table.
Bougie
Just
hat
like
on. Coming with the check call. Looking for a heart. 1.37 out there. Doesn't find it on the turn. Been a really tough start to this final table. Xuan.
The ace-jack is usually good as played. I guess the question is, does Dvoris ever get check jammed on the turn? Because if that's the case, then you're probably going to be more likely to check back. But if you feel that's not in Xuan's play, then you'd probably bet.
Oh my.
There's the hearts.
A free look at the river, and what a river it is. The Queen of Hearts giving Xuan the nut flush. And as played, Randy, no fault there from Forrest, just playing a bit of defense, a bit of, ICM savviness perhaps.
I think you played the hand just fine. For now, though, I think Xuan needs to bet this herself. She can't rely on Dvoris to try and bluff at her. And Xuan really doesn't want an ace-x to just check it back and miss value.
Comes with, is that around B40? Bit less. Closer to 1/3.
It's a bit on the small side. I wonder if she's trying to bet small like this to induce like a hand like ace-jack that's maybe trying to move their opponent off of a chop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably would have gone a little bit bigger.
Well, she's going to get paid. She's back up to 4.2 million. Back to trending in the right direction.
She got the vengeance.
Just like that, she was back in the fight at 4.2 million chips. But the real test was still coming.
Whatever that means. I guess we just saw Rory McIlroy win the Masters. Could compare it to that
in the sport. I don't know.
Golf, Randy.
Okay.
Guess you could compare it to winning all 4 Grand Slams in tennis.
This is nice for Xuan. Picked up the king, although it is a very busy board. Wonder if Divorce bets his flop. 2 10s. It's like his type of board, but then he has a hand that's like, I don't really want to get in 1.4 million, but it has decent equity because he's got the 10 of diamonds. Let's go with min. Pure min. You know, so the thing is, Xuan's range is actually very capped to King X. She's supposed to jam a lot of ace-X pre-flop, given it's big blind versus button against the chip leader. So she might feel very compelled to call down King 9 off if necessary.
She can have some flushes as well, right, out the big. Like, an abundance of flushes. She has a lot of suited combos. Like, even has like Jack 7 of diamonds that's going to defend at this stack depth. See if Forrest respects that. Shuts down on this turn.
The thing is, the 10s still beat, you know, like 8-9, 8x. So it might not need to turn itself into a bluff. But if he was holding just a naked diamond, single diamond, then he might attack. Great spot for Xuan. Picks up trip kings.
Yeah, that makes things a lot more comfortable for her, obviously.
She needs to do the betting herself. Shouldn't expect Daniel Divorce to take a bet check bet line.
Just gonna leave 1 chip back. Forrest staring her down with the 10s. 10s with a diamond.
I think he can get away. Like I said, there shouldn't be that many ace-X in Xuan's range. She's got a lot of king X's. She has got the flushes that you mentioned. 8x doesn't need to turn itself into a bluff. Even if Xuan had a hand like Queen Jack with the single diamond, that hand has some showdown value where it doesn't need to jam bluff as the nut-no pair. He blocks some floats that would check call flop and want to bluff the river, like 10-9 off to Jack 10 with the 10 of diamonds.
He's really thinking this one through, perhaps for the reasons you mentioned earlier. He's like, well, look, ace-X I would have heard from pre-flop. King X certainly a possibility, but with the appearance of the second king on the river, it makes it less likely. Blocking some of the stronger flushes, of course.
Yeah, I would really like to see a fold in this spot as played. He's like, seriously?
He's like flicking the hand here. He's like, really? Oh, what do you have? I wonder if he just like flicks in the call here just out of sheer curiosity so that he can sleep well at night.
He can also wait for the delay.
Yeah, there it is. It felt like it was coming. It felt like he wanted to see it.
There you go, Xuan. She's back.
That is a huge double up. Xuan back up to 20 bigs. Getting paid on the river.
As the field narrowed, Xuan's killer instinct emerged. Kristen Foxen was in her crosshairs, and in tournament poker, there's no room for mercy. When you smell weakness, you attack.
So
And now
all the chips are in about 25K.
Yeah, it's become clear, but in a very bad way for Kristen. King Jack of spades dominating And you're right, we're not on our backs because Foxen did leave herself 25K behind. Very much so. Little does she know it. Let's see whether or not the flop is going to give her any relief in a 7.35 million chip pot. She doesn't look particularly inspired. And 10-7-3 lacks inspiration. No club, no 8. Xuan not in love with it either.
No, but she just wants to get the cards on their backs.
So the 25K bet and called, and now Kristen realizes, as we did before her, how dire her straights are. Just 13% with 2 to come. Not an impossible outcome, by the way.
Also not likely.
Yeah, especially when the 4 rolls off and makes it impossible. So now it's only an 8. That will avoid heartbreak for all the Kristen Foxen fans out there, and that's not an 8. So good luck graciously issued by Kristen upon her departure.
Moments later, another player hit the rails in third place, setting up a heads-up battle versus one of the best no-limit players in the world. But Xuan was not about to back down. What happened next left the entire poker world in shock.
We're going to begin with Divorce on the button. Jack-7 offsuit, choosing to limp. A check back from the 8-9 off of Xuan. And she's going to find a pair versus a gut shot. Checks over to Daniel.
Might see Divorce bet this flop with its gut shot. Can get better hands to fold, like queen and king highs. He is going to take the free card. There's the king on the turn, which is dangerous for Xuan. Although, of course, rangers are wide.
King rolling off after the check back. Xuan still content to knuckle.
It is harder to get a pair to fold after you check back the flop. Let's see, he's going to try, but this shouldn't work.
1,200,000. Boy, this is the kind of size that really makes a pair of 8s frustrated. Especially when you have just 7.1 back.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but it should be a king or nothing situation right now, so...
We remove 10s from the line?
Yeah, I think so. I think a 10 would bet the flop a lot to build a pot.
Well, Xuan, up to the task, does find the call here. And let's see whether or not Divorce tries to continue to tell the tale of kings on this board pairing 3, which is not a problem at all for the 8s. In fact, it helps Xuan in case there was a better 8 lurking. Doesn't feel like a likely proposition.
Yeah, unlikely, but the 3 is pretty tough to bet again as Divorce because Xuan might have hero called with a 3. And obviously trips would never fold. A 10 would still feel alright. Xuan could still have a king X that's never folding. I'm going to imagine he's going to give up. Yeah. Well played for Xuan. Hanging on and closing the gap. Do you need help with that iPad?
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm not a Safari user. All right, way to put me on blast.
I mean, like, there's a long pause.
I mean, come on. Google Chrome is the way to go, but on the iPads, they got us loaded up. Okay, listen, I'm here. Total live earnings, 2.4 million plus. Best live cash, 600,000 for Xuan. Our Queen Jack underperforming on a 10-6-5 board where Divorce limped the button and found himself with top pair, and the action checked over.
I'm going to think that Xuan's going to want to check call when the likely bet comes in from Divorce. 2 overs, connectivity to the 10. Might even have the best hand with Queen High. very surprised if she doesn't continue. She's continued in a very aggressive manner,
Yeah.
though.
I mean, apparently she's had her fill of Daniel taking pots from her here, and this is part and parcel to heads-up play, Randy. You got to mix a little bit of this in.
You're right about that. So what's the play now? Top pair, 4 kicker. It's a hand at this stack depth, like you're just willing to get chips in at some point. It's just, is it better to call and react on the turn or get in now? I'm going to assume call because there's no flush draws out there. And also, holding a 4 is a little bit nice because just in case you're up against a straight draw like 8-7, you're blocking out.
At the same time, though, holding a 4 interferes with some of those straight draws that you'd love to assign to Xuan here as a check raiser.
True. Like, yeah, he could be in a spot where it's top pair versus top pair and he's got the worst kicker. But you can't worry too much about that spot. You need to maximize the times when your opponent is bluffing. How do I get the most against that? He's just going to rip it in himself. Denies the 27% equity.
Yep, no further decision points required as Dvoris punishes the step out from Xuan.
I think King 7 offsuit should be checking. It's a bit too strong to raise fold, whereas the King Deuce earlier from Dvoris, not as good.
Jack 10-8 board puts him in front with bottom pair. Xuan checks over the gut shot in king high.
Check bet seems pretty good for the 8. Sure, betting does kind of protect against the straight draw stuff, but when you get check called, you're not really sure where you're out, and you want to contain the pot with that kind of kicker.
No betting brings the 4. Xuan checking once more.
Potentially a spot to start charging gut shots now, as they're less apt to call when there's only one card to go. Checking still seems okay.
Third heart rolls in after the second check back from Dvoris' 8s, which are still best. 7 of hearts becoming very relevant if Xuan wants to close her eyes and convince herself she's got better than king high.
She is going to try and take this one. She's thrown in a lot of overbets, and they haven't been called. This time she's got a bluff. 2x pot. Wow. Oh my.
I love this.
This is cool.
Not often you see Dvoris put in the blender, but that's exactly where Xuan's got him. The product, of course, of his decision to check back on 2 streets. Not a critique, just an observation. But opening the door for her to lean very heavily upon him, and you see him looking over. Maybe trying to pick up on which side of polarity Xuan is on here.
I'll say this. The story doesn't make that much sense to all of a sudden go 2x pot with this board run out. If Xuan had a flush, she probably would just probe the turn with a flush draw because of the flop check through. I mean, even if she had a hand like 2 pair by the turn, she'd probably want to build the pot against all those draws out there. So the story to me that she's selling, if she did have the goods, is she rivered 2 pair somehow with the 6. But what a play. 2x pot. It's hard to call. This is an all-in confrontation, my friend. 5s and ace queen.
Yeah, red 5s for Xuan. She's limping.
She's limping to jam. And Dvoris is going to be isolating to call it off. There's no way this doesn't get in pre.
There's step one. As a bundle of orange, total of 3.2.
Buckle up.
Stuck out there. That's 4 big blinds that Xuan is thinking she might be able to just pick off here. She jams in the anxious moments where she wonders, is it 2 overs or is it the over pair? And fortunately for her, it's the former, not the latter. So she will take the lead by 9% into battle here. This is the first all-in call we've had deep into this heads-up match, Randy.
That's right. It's a 35 million chip pot. Whoever wins this pot is likely to win the tournament or will win it here and now. Slight favorite for Xuan Liu. Can divorce close it out? Oh man, that's a good flop.
I mean, it doesn't put him in front, but it does present the counterfeit opportunity, adding to his 6 outs with 3 tens. 9 in total as it stands. Divorce a 3-2 dog with 2 to come. Xuan, desperate to hold and keep the dream of a title in her first Triton alive.
Safe.
Remains intact for the time being, but safety won't be the official sentiments until the river is revealed. The deuce and undercard to the 5s. Helpful. And the 4 will now grant an overwhelming chip lead to Xuan Liu, Randy. 35 million plus to Divorce's 3.4.
She's going to do it, Ollie. She's got a 10-1 chip lead.
Ollie?
Well, he's chosen it as the one to go with. 7 high is a bit dusty, and you don't really want to give Daniel a double, but Xuan's going to take her chances. 2 clean cards, 1 over, 1 under for Daniel. The better of the 2 holdings. But you see the advantage he enjoys, just 14%, still chunky equity for the roughly 3-2 dog Xuan Liu, who is looking to close things out after the shockwave she just sent through the Maestral. A pot to go.
Can she finish him? 42% equity. Here we go. I see a 7.
Jack 7-5, and Xuan has just outflopped Daniel. 1 club on board, but perhaps 2 cards away from history. $7.6 million. Must go Daniel's way. The turn. Not what he needs.
The light is flickering.
Is this the moment that Xuan tastes glory in her first outing? Yes, it is!
She did it.
In her first Triton event, against some of the world's most elite professionals, Xuan Liu had done the impossible. She didn't just win a tournament, she rewrote the rules for women in poker and made Triton history.